Hey guys, it's Jeff here with another episode of 5 Minute Murder. I got my timer this time, got some cards. We're going to shuffle up the deck, and then we're going to talk about one of the killers for 5 minutes. So we'll see who we get here. I got my brand new Scorpion Lair Games hat on. I just got it in the mail today. So good stuff. All right, we're going to pick one out of here. See who we get. We got Richard Cottingham, torso murderer. We're going to start right now. All right, so old Richard Cottingham was born November 25th, 1946. He is still alive, currently in jail. He is an American serial killer from New Jersey, operating in New York between 1967 and 1980. He was nicknamed the Torso Killer due to his habit of dismembering his victims, usually leaving nothing but a torso behind. He was eventually convicted of murder in 1981 after being caught fleeing an attempted murder. Officially, Cottingham killed 9 people, but he claims between 85 and 100 murders. Cottingham is incarcerated in New Jersey State Prison in Trenton, New Jersey. So it's really funny. You look at this picture of Richard Cottingham, right? Just last year, I went to a convention called Fear Expo. And I took my dad with me to Fear Expo. And he looks a lot like Richard Cottingham. So at Fear Expo, I told everybody that I got Richard Cottingham on loan from prison in New Jersey to come here and be at the convention so he could talk to people. And my dad ate it up, and he went and talked to everybody about all kinds of things. Not about Richard Cottingham, but about him meeting Charles Manson and his kind of whole life story and all the different mafia guys that he knew. But old Richard Cottingham, interesting case, not far from my hometown, right? He's currently in Trenton, New Jersey, lived in New Jersey, went up to New York. But I lived right outside of Philadelphia in a little city that everybody knows now because the president lives there. But I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware. That was where I came from. And Richard Cottingham, not far away from there, maybe an hour away from where I grew up. Now, Cottingham would go over to all kinds of like seedy motels, right? And he would often pick up prostitutes and go to those motels and do what he wanted. He was obviously a crazy, crazy sadist, right? He would often torture those women. He would end up killing them and dismembering them and then throwing out their parts. And he would sometimes divide it up, put it in different places, and they would find bits of these women all over the area in New York. But he was kind of smart about some of his crimes, right? Because he crossed different state lines, it took him much longer to catch him. Of course, he was caught in 1981. I was only a year old then. So just so you guys know, I was born in 1980. And so Cottingham was killing up until that point. But during that time, just like Richard Ramirez, just like Ted Bundy, during the time that he was killing, lots of places didn't talk to one another, right? Police departments didn't agree with one another. They didn't go and share information. They really kept it all to themselves, which really cost them in the end, because many, many of these killers, and you'll see it over and over and over again, they get away with their crimes because nobody is talking, because they may kill in one state, cross the state lines or cross the county lines and go to another county and kill in that county, and the police departments would not communicate that with one another. So they would have one case here, one case there, and nobody realized that they were all related, because killers don't care about where they kill. Now, Cottingham, of course, I believe did that on purpose, right? If I remember correctly, Cottingham was married. And so he would leave and go on these little trips to do this. And, he would do that on the sly. So he didn't want to get caught by his wife, by his children, right? He wanted to go out there and do what he did and, go and kill without getting caught by anybody. It just so happened that also worked with and for the police. So yeah, like I said, you see that with so many killers out there, that they are at least intelligent enough to try to evade detection, by crossing over those lines, by going into the next state, by going into the next county, because they understood that. I'm glad that our, forensic and everything has become so good, and we now have a national database, right, where we can go and look. The fingerprint database, of course, people are, scared about that and everything, but it's really helpful to catch these criminals, because you can put that in the national database and find them wherever they've committed crimes. It is an incredible thing that really helps out all of us when you're talking about some of these killers who are killing over and over and over again. So there we go, guys. That is a 5-minute murder. Little Richard Cottingham, the let's see. His nickname is the Torso Killer. I guess he would be the New York Torso Killer. There's also, if you look, there's also a Cleveland Torso Killer, which is a different guy. Now, I know I'm going over my time. Yeah, fuck it. 5-minute murder, right? But Peter Vronsky is the one that got Cottingham to confess his crimes, right? And you can watch, if you go on to YouTube here, and you can watch some of the interviews that Vronsky did with Cottingham. Now, just recently, like in the last 4 or 5 months, they've attributed another murder. They found another body and are now tacking that on to Richard Cottingham, that he has killed another one. So that information on the card where he was, convicted of killing 9 people, make that 10 that they know of. And there may be many, many more. So anyway, check it out. Richard Cottingham. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us again next week for some more 5-minute murder.